Good afternoon, alienated parents, alienated grandparents, alienated children, family, friends, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters worldwide. Welcome to Let's Talk on Real Talk on parent alienation and domestic violence. My name is Mary Ald Kovacs, and I am a survivor of domestic violence of 46 years, which still continues as parent alienation has taken a world turn to 18 years, going on 19 for me. I am here as an advocate, a parent. I am not yet a grandparent, but you know, we do get children coming at some time in our life. So what I am fighting for is for my future grandchildren and the grandchildren of many, many other people, especially my mom, who has not seen her grandchildren in 18 years, just as long as I haven't seen them since our divorce, as the courts awarded the abusive parent the teenage children only because they were brainwashed into believing that they were safer with the father because the father used them to have me falsely arrested and told the London police that I was an abusive mother and that I was a crackhead alcoholic, and they've never seen me drink. They've never seen me do drugs. I've never done crack in my life. Don't even know what it looks like. And told everyone that I beat them daily. I raised these children for 18 years of their lives, from 18 to 17 and 15, with any kind of problems ever, until one day the father told my middle child to cry suicide. Domestic violence, intimate partner domestic violence, takes a really toll on the spouse, man or woman, and puts you into positions where you are forced to stay with them. And through my marriage, I had to listen to, I will kill myself if you leave me. I will kill you if you leave me. I will kill the children if you leave me. I will kill you, and you will never know what I do with the children if you leave me. These are voices in my head that linger on forever. And to have our children taken away from us for no reason other than we love them, and we all know that we fight. We fight for our children till the end. And whether they are 2, 3, 4, 15, 16, 17, my kids are 36, 35, almost 35, and just turned 33. And I'm missing the best part of their lives. Even though I got to raise them for the first 18 years, actually 20, when their first older sister passed away. I was there alone, married to a soldier with mental health issues himself, and no one to turn to because the Army is, not there for people with mental illness. They want people to be strong, powerful. They fight for themselves. They don't care about the family, the spouses. So they're there for themselves. And when they're taken away 6 to 12 months a year, you're home alone. So I got to raise my children for 20 years alone with no problems until I asked for a divorce, because these, you could only take it for so long. So after 24 years, I needed to, stand on my feet to get healthy. I was disabled. And mentally, he tortured me, where I asked my therapist, my psychologist, to take me for a couple days and rest while he was home with the kids after 12 months away. And then he used it against me and started drugging me when I came home, putting it in my drink, my water at night, my food, and laugh about it when he got caught. So I had to file for a divorce. And knowing that he was always pulling the wool over my head, I didn't realize that uh, that you know letting him take my guard down one more time. He said, "If you drop the divorce, we will go to counseling." I waited 24 years for those words. So I did, for the best interest of my children. I thought, to put up with what I had to deal with came to being falsely arrested after 3 months in marriage counseling. It did not work, not at all. And only because the therapist asked us to reveal what we didn't like about each other. And when I got to speak first, I told him what I thought was the worst and most degrading thing he could have done, and just said, "I want you to stop." And then when I couldn't even think when I said it. It just came out because it's what I lived with for all those years. And he didn't like it. Therapist asked him what he thought, and he said, "Well, she's not the same person I married." And I'm thinking, well, of course not. I stood up for myself finally. And then next thing I know, I'm in jail. Police came, they took me from my home, ripped me from two of my teenage kids, a 15 and an 18-year-old, to to taking me away to never see them again. They tried to cuff me, but they couldn't because I had medical braces. I had broken wrists from a car accident 5 months prior. I used a wheelchair, a cane, a walker. They didn't care. They took me. I had no rights. And after 5 months, when I won the case, the judge told me to go home. When I went back to the home, the London police came because he had the doors locked, changed everything, couldn't get in. Dogs were in the backyard barking their heads off. Those were my emotional support dogs, 3 of them. And they protected me. I was alone all the time. And the judge let them have them. He let my ex-husband have the house, took the kids, and for no reason whatsoever. There were no charges laid, but I was taken from them for 5 months, waiting to have the charges dropped. And when they were, Justice Taylor of London Court still condemned me as an unfit parent, knowing that I was not an unfit parent, and that if the charges didn't stick, I would get everything, including the kids. It didn't work. The judge didn't even, when he asked, was it taken care of? Both counsel said yes, but no one elaborated, and it was fluffed off. The charges were dropped a month before my divorce date on December 23rd, 2005. 2 days before Christmas, I was kicked again to the curb, to the streets. And it was so sad because there's a healthy man living in my home that I paid for as well. And when I went there, the police came and said the house was only mine on paper and that I had to get off my property. And I thought, this is wrong. This is so wrong. So here I am today, after being brought back to trial 17 years later. It's my first year after the trial. And the emotional and physical stress got to me. It created more heart problems, more breathing problems. My arthritis is so severe that it's gotten to the point where I have to start taking care of myself. And so here I have my emotional support dog, Molly. She is really good for me. She takes me on my walks daily, and I help other people going through the same problem as me. The domestic violence part of the court process is really starting to um, take effect to many people out there because they are being abused not only at home but in the court process. And then after the kids are taken from them, no one cares. No one cares what happens, especially when the kids are 18 and out of the court system. So if you have a ex-spouse that takes you back over the years, some of us are going 20 years back and forth to court because our kids are now taking us back to court. And that's very unfair for the court system to allow this to happen. We didn't raise our children to hate a parent. We didn't raise our children to be criminals. We didn't raise our children to use other people's SIM cards because they're told to punish the parent somehow, to use their identity. I mean, wow, the things we are experiencing here in this kind of matter, all because of the court system allowing our kids to punish us for nothing. I mean, we were there to fight for them. We never stopped loving them, but sometimes these kids are lashing out at the wrong parent, and guess who gets all the blame for it? It's our side of the family, the targeted parent, the grandparent, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the friends, anybody who's associated with the targeted parent gets left out of the equation. Or the targeted parents side with the alienating side because they know that if they don't, they will never see the kids. They'll never, this is just too much for us to handle. So to talk about more on how we can deal with all these emotional and mental issues that we go through ourselves to help our children, we need to reach out to our kids. And it's hard not to lash back at them, but we have to detach with love. And I know I had a good conversation with one of my youngest children who totally distorted her whole entire life on my social media page. Parent alienation is child abuse. She literally got onto Zoom trial last December on 2021. So it's going to be 2 years this December. And literally stated that she didn't alienate us. We alienated her. So right away, that was the red flag that kind of triggered everything. And my ex-husband took a deal because he knew. They both knew. Him and his lawyer both knew that right there. That's it. That's all you need to say. So now she sent me messages saying that I will never see my grandchildren. And when she does have children, she will tell them how abusive mother I was to her, even though she admittedly said I did not abuse her. So parent alienation is playing mind games with our kids. They're being brainwashed to hate us, to make up lies, to make up stories. And it's not fair to them when they had a good, loving life beforehand, being raised by grandparents and cousins and uncles and aunts. And, it's not just me out there that's dealing with this. And I have so many people coming to me, like I said, daily, asking for help. And the only thing I can do is help by educating them here on my Parent Alienation is child abuse page, and bringing on professionals, Dr. Jennifer Harmon, Dr. Mark Roseman, Joel Goldberg from Toronto, Brian Lundmer-Law from Toronto, Petra Dieter, Victims the Hero from California, not to name just a few, but wow, it's just amazing of all the people that come on to this talk show, because we all know that parent alienation is real. There is a video with Dr. Sam Vaknin, professor of psychology, and everything that I ask to get verification from this man can tell you that parent alienation is a serious issue, because the kids are being traumatized and they are the children of war, that they attack one parent and their family, and to wipe them all out. We are going to have generations of abusive people, more so than we did back in the 60s and 70s, because divorce has taken control of our children's minds and the alienating parents' minds, because now they're giving them more power to hate us, abuse us for life. This is a lifetime sentence. It's, it's catastrophic impairment, CPTSD. We deal with it daily, a living death. So there's grief disorder. This has got to stop. I mean, we got parent alienation taken out of the DSM, but yet we've got grief disorder going back in. And why are we grieving? Because we had our children taken from us, and it's no different than having someone come and kidnap your kid or trafficking them. It's still the same thing. We don't get to see the kids. We don't get to celebrate birthdays, marriages. It's just so sad what these alienating parents are doing. Moms and dads out there, stop. You're messing up the kids. I have a son that works with the military, or sorry, the Navy, and he is going worldwide helping people. But yet, I'm a bad mom. So to my son out there with the Royal Canadian Navy, my daughter, 2 daughters, this is sad. I loved you, and I know you love me too. So just please come out of hiding, get some help. And, we all get help as parents, and we need to reach out to you children to do the same thing. When I got reunited with my father, it was the best thing in my life after him bailing me out of jail. And then my stepmother wouldn't let me see him from 2005 when he came to bail me out. And then I found him on his deathbed in 2013, and she wouldn't even let him come to the funeral of his own son that got killed in 2011. So this parent alienation stuff is really, really affecting others very harshly, because my dad took a stroke knowing that he wasn't told that his son was murdered. And then when he requested to see the children, his grandchildren, on his deathbed, we wrote to the lawyer, and the lawyer refused, literally refused to give us information. And these lawyers who are doing this need to be exposed. My ex's lawyer, Robert Hawes, I begged him and politely spoke to him, never badmouthed him. But, the night of my divorce, the day of my divorce, he walked into the courtroom and said, "This is going to be an easy case. I had dinner with the judge the night before and told him all about it." Sure enough, that's what happened. So, we need help, and I need help. I go to therapy, I talk to people, and I want everybody to know that you've been told by your alienator that therapists are quacks and whatever, but judge for yourself. I know it's helping me. It's helped me to get by for 46 years. Um, I've gone to many specialists, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, and it wasn't for ever. It was just short term each time. But at least I went to talk to someone. And this is why my life was so dark, so secretive, so perfect. It wasn't perfect, not on the inside. It was when he was gone. So I lived a life alone, and he lived his life whatever way he wanted, and I couldn't stop it. So when people ask, why didn't you leave? Well, he did, but he kept coming home. He had a key. I never changed the locks. But the day he had me falsely arrested, the next morning the locks were changed. So this is a planned effort, and they convince children that they got to change the locks because we're abusive. Wow. But anyways, this is my story, and I speak on it to help others to realize you're not alone, and I'm not alone, but I'm here to give you help. And what special guest could come out and help us would be great. And we need to change legislations here in Canada, the United States, the UK. We all need to be on the same page because parent alienation is worldwide. It's a global pandemic, and our children are addicted to drugs, alcohol, whatever they've accused us of is what they're going through because they know no other way of expressing the abuse that they feel inside, especially when they haven't been abused. We don't abuse our kids, and if we do, I don't even know how to answer that one, but we don't. I'm sure that if we did, people would notice, but there's nobody that knows us as abusive parents. And anyways, so I'm here to advocate for helping false allegations, to make sure that it's not really happening to them. Oh, I got a piece of hair stuck here. But anyways, it's the court system brainwashing them to accuse us parents. So I have Dr. Lynn Steinberg coming next Tuesday, September 19th, with a pressing legislative issue that she would like to reach out to Let's Talk, Real Talk with Andy Martins and I to share with all of you out there. And I'm hoping that we have all these other politicians in legislative offices who can hear us, because it's not just happening to simply us, it's happening to everybody. Every child out there is targeted in some way or another, whether it's through parent alienation, foster care, CAS. This is getting to be like a drastic reduction on our young children, because growing up to be addicted to some kind of a substance, whether it's drugs, alcohol, sex, abuse, it's going to ruin them for the rest of their lives. And they got to pair up with one of your kids out there, and you don't want that to happen, because living a life tied in to a marriage with domestic violence is hard to get out of. But we can help you to get to a safer spot somehow, by support and giving you the guidance that we get from our special guests on how to deal with it. So tune in on Tuesday with Dr. Lynn Steinberg. We also have Vernon back from Canada Court Watch coming on Sunday, September 17th at 8 p.m. Vernon Beck does parenting plans. He can do all kinds of forensic things for the children involved in the conflicts between the alienating and the targeted parent through court systems. Also, we will be having more grandparents coming on, because grandparents are losing every right they have to their grandchildren, but yet parent alienation begins with their own children. So without grandchildren, these grandparents had issues probably already with their own children going on through divorce or whatever. And a lot of times they're alienated children themselves. So learned behaviors can be unlearned. We need to teach kids love again, and have these court systems, judges, lawyers, all know what they're doing to these kids and to the targeted parent and grandparent. We are dealing with severe illnesses out there. A lot of parents are dying, and grandparents, without ever seeing their grandchildren or children again. And I only want to remind people that when you go into a senior's home, all they want to do is hold on to someone that resembles their own child that they haven't seen in years, because they're left in senior homes all by themselves. Due to the COVID pandemic, I stopped playing my music while I was going to senior homes, and I was going to every one of them that I could possibly play at, and to see the joy on their faces knowing that they had someone to talk to, it was purely a life-changing issue for me, because I lost my father in palliative care in Toronto as well, and I went to play for him, and he always gave me inspiration to keep playing for the last 4 years. So I know that because I reunified with my father, I I am optimistic that eventually one day I may see my kids, if not my grandchildren, and we need to change the law on, our rights as well, because we raised these kids to be kind and loving. We didn't raise them to hate us. And the alienators only get attention by teaching hate, because they don't know how to love. But anyways, thank you for listening. This is Let's Talk, and also Let's Talk Real Talk with Mary Kovacs, and I hope to see you all. Tune in on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. These broadcasts are very important, because our future children depend on 50-50, shared parenting. It's hard for a child to choose. And when they have to choose, they cut off one side of them. So that's the side that's brain dead. And the other side is a hate crime, because they don't know where the love is anymore. Let's give them back the love. Help us and spread the word, and share these podcasts. Bring anyone on. I'm here. We take all guests who are dealing with parent alienation due to intimate family domestic violence or the courts. Whatever your story is, we are here to listen. Thank you again from Molly and me. Have a pleasant evening, and we'll see you Sunday night.